The meeting that just ended today, 23rd February 2024, Friday, was between the leadership of the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, led by the board chairman, Alhaji Kashim Ibrahim Bataya, and also Petroleum Products Retail Athlete Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, led by their president, Prince Dr. Billy Sotubo Hari. And the meeting was between the members of the House of Representative Committee on Downstream Petroleum. The meeting resolved first to commend the leadership of NATO and Petron for their role in calling off the strike, which has given room for resumed distribution of petroleum products, and also commended the National Security Advisor and the Nuhu Ribadu and the Oyo Minister and the NNDPRA Chief, Authority Chief Farouk for their role in the mediation that ensured that NATO returned back to the road. And also the committee agreed with NATO and Petron to find sustainable solution to the present challenges facing the petroleum product distribution and retail outlet owners to avert any further strike or disruption of the supply or retail chain. The committee agreed with NATO and Petron for an all-inclusive meeting with leadership of the National Assembly, regulators, and other key stakeholders like DAPMAN, MOMAN, NMPCL, NUPENG, and security agencies to tackle issues of multiple charges, sharp practices, and rising costs for transportation to help achieve sustainable and affordable product distribution and pricing system. The committee also agreed that because of the sufferings retail owners and transport owners are going through as a result of lack of access to funding, to fast-track the process for the legislative creation of the Energy Bank and also a council on petroleum product distribution to eliminate these challenges and ensure energy stability, affordability, and availability. The committee also agreed for encouragement of local refiners with licensing and funding to increase refining of quality and affordable products, which will help to create more jobs and reduce pressure on our foreign exchange. And the committee also agreed to monitor closely the ongoing repair of our national refineries and ensure that they come on stream soonest. The committee also resolved with NATO and Petron that we are going to investigate the issue of retail owners who paid for petroleum products and months after they don't get it, and the emergence of middlemen who now resell these products to the real petrol outlet owners, which is the reason why the price keep rising. We also agreed for a stakeholders recommendation from NATO, Petron, and others to help in tackling some of the immediate and long-term need in the industry to help to ensure energy stability. We also agreed to look into the status of the over 23 NMPCA depot and the National Pipeline Network and their status to ensure why some of them are not working, because we agreed that if this depot and pipeline system is working, there will be no need to have pressure on our road with issues of moving this product from the depot to the respective retail outlets. So we're going to look into this situation and find out also why the concession and the contract that have been given for repair of some of these pipelines, why they have not been able to be completed to ease the movement of petroleum products. The committee also agreed for a legislative action to look into how to reduce the freight cost by ensuring the dredging of the seaport that can open vessel landing corridors in other sectors apart from Lagos, Warri, Port Harcourt, Calabar, and so on and so forth, so that the cost of product movement can reduce, and also reactivating the pipelines for petroleum product distribution and inclusion of modern technological system of monitoring it to avert vandalization. And also, we agreed to consult further on the issue of amending the PIA to provide room for inclusion of stakeholders in the downstream sector, petroleum distribution and retailing chain, in the board of NNDPRA, so that they can be part of those decision-making process and be able to resolve challenges when they come up without us waiting for warning strike before stakeholders can come together and start tackling it. Thank you all for coming.
I'm privileged to be invited for this very important stakeholders meeting with you, the honorable members of the House of Representatives Committee for Petroleum Resources Downstream. It is particularly gladdening to invite us for this meeting at this crucial time in our nation's history, when our energy sector is being threatened by high inflation and deteriorating exchange rate of Naira. Mr. Chairman, honorable members of this committee, transporters in Nigeria, particularly the transporters of petroleum products, are suffering under extreme operational challenges that include the high cost of vehicle maintenance, high cost of spare parts, the condition of our roads, insecurity, etc. Recently, Mr. Chairman, the Petroleum Industry Act was passed, which signifies the end of the regulated environment, where activities of the sector are left to the powers of demand and supply, which implies that payment of transporters' freight is left to be negotiated between the marketers and transporters. Mr. Chairman, you could remember in 29th May last year, when the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was inaugurated, in his inaugural speech announces the removal of fuel subsidy with immediate effect. Since then, the freight of transportation remained the same. We have made all effort as contained by the Act to negotiate with the marketers with a view of arriving at a figure that will enable us to continue the work we have been doing to supply petroleum products across the country. All efforts to sit with marketers prove abortive. We have written letters severally to them. We have copied the authority, midstream, downstream, petroleum resources. We have copied the Honorable Minister of Petrol Oil. We have copied the DSS. We met the DG DSS. We met the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, all in our effort to ensure that there is an intervention between us and the marketers so as to come up with a solution on how to continue the supply and distribution of petroleum products. It is quite unfortunate and oversight on our own part that we did not consider to copy this very important committee of the House of Representatives. I'm sure by this, our meeting today, had it been we have copied your committee, the issue could not have been the way it was, because this meeting could not have become at a better time than now. None of them invited us for a meeting. But look at the committee that due to oversight, we do not even copy. They are now inviting us to hear from us and have an interaction with us with a view to ensure adequate supply of petroleum product. I think this singular act of this committee is a manifestation of the good quality of leadership that the Honorable Chairman has come to play in the history of petroleum downstream. Mr. Chairman, we are happy. We are happy to meet with you because I'm sure, as my brother has said, this is the voice of the people. This is the people that represent the people. These are the people who are transparently discharging their responsibilities without any fear or favor. And I'm sure this interaction section will lead to a positive response to Nigerians. Mr. Chairman, it is unfortunate that our services is not recognized by Nigerian government and even the citizens of this country. The emergence of NATO was as a result of the failure of the NNPC to put our pipeline in operation. If we have our pipeline across the country, which was designed to move petroleum product from where it is produced or where it is imported to the various NNPC depots across Nigeria. The NNPC then has designed over 23 NNPC depots in the country. These NNPC depots have cut across all the 6 geopolitical zones, and they are served with area offices. The Mosmi, which is the area office, was linked from the Atlas Corp. There's a pipeline from the Atlas Corp to Mosmi. Once the product arrived at Mosmi Depot, they have 4 pipelines, 3 pipeline system. They can easily pump to NNPC satellite depot in Lagos. They can also pump to NNPC Apata in Ibadan, and they can also pump to NNPC depot in Ori. Apata NNPC depot can easily pump to NNPC depot in Ilorin. Same thing to NNPC Port Harcourt refinery and Wari refineries. The pipelines were designed between Aba, Enugu, Makodi, Gombe, Yola, Maiduguri, Gusau, Kano, Kaduna refineries. These have cut across everywhere in the country. And I'm sure if our pipelines are working, we wouldn't have been here to be discussing the issue of freight. We can only discuss the issue of local diversion, local lifting from the NNPC depot to the filling stations outlet, which is not more than 300 to 350 kilometer distance. Mr. Chairman, it was as a result of this that today 100% of movement of petroleum product supply and distribution is relying on petroleum tanker trucks, which made our roads too busy, which made our roads deteriorating, which made our road to be damaged at all times because of the high movement of the petroleum products. It is for this reason, Mr. Chairman, we found it very difficult to operate after nobody listened to negotiate with us. We have no option other than to park the trucks and wait for further intervention. Mr. Chairman, let me give you a typical example. We are paid 30 naira per liter to lift PMS from Lagos to NNPC depot in Suleja. 30 naira per liter or 40,000 liters is 1.2 million naira. And the truck consumes a minimum of 900 liters of diesel at 1,500 naira per liter, which is about 1.450 million naira, 250 above the freight rate. In addition, the 1.2 million naira freight rate is subject to 5% withholding tax deducted and payable to the Federal Inland Revenue Services, which will be shared to the 3 tiers of government. Without even taking into consideration the driver's allowance, the driver's wages, the driver's salary. So it is difficult, if not impossible, for a transporter to load a truck from from Lagos to any depot. If now I take another example, if you are loading product from Lagos to Lagos, we are just paid 1 naira 34 kobo per liter. Times 40,000 liters is just 60 to 62,000 naira per trip, and we give a minimum of 100 liter of diesel to the driver. 100 liter of diesel to driver is 160,000 naira. At 1,500 naira per liter of diesel. So it is not possible for us to operate. And all the components of trucks today is 100% dependent on importation. We import tires, we import batteries, we import spare parts. Even the vehicle itself is imported at a high cost of dollar exchange rate. Unfortunately for us, transportation is not even in the dollar supply classification of dollar allocation. We are not entitled to apply for dollar allocation from the CBN to import the spare part or any of accessories of the vehicles. It's not in the classification of the dollar importation. So for us to import, we need to go to the black market and source the dollar for us to maintain the vehicles. So, Mr. Chairman, this is the reason why most of the transporters, under duress, they have to park, and they cannot continue to move and continue with the operations. It's not that NATO wanted to go on strike. No, we are investors. No investor is willing to stop his operation, because once we park a truck for a day, we are losing money also. And we know there are other innocent Nigerians who will suffer, but they suffer because maybe of the negligence or nonchalant attitude of somebody or some agencies. That's why I think we parked, and out of patriotism, as you said, and out of the intervention of the National Security Advisor, let me thank him for his intervention, and the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources Oil for also his intervention, and the Authority Chief Executive of the NMDPRA has also intervened, who convened a stakeholders meeting and allow all marketers to go and have separate discussions with their transporters so as to come with an acceptable freight rate to be payable to their transporters. I think it was for this reason that we decided to continue with rendering the services of moving the petroleum product at a loss. It's not that we are offered anything, but it's out of patriotism, because we know Nigerians will suffer, and we don't want any Nigeria to suffer as a result of our operations. Mr. Chairman, let me thank you most sincerely for this meeting, and also thank your members who found it important and necessary to attend this meeting.
We came with a very expectant heart that you are the people's voice. You are the people's voice. And there is nothing that should happen in this country today that once the House of Representatives is very interested in providing a solution that cannot be solved. Because you are the closest to the grassroots in terms of the highest level of policy making and legislative agenda setting, and also oversight monitoring for the areas that concern our daily lives. Today is no longer news that petrol, as we commonly call it, PMS, is a critical ingredient of our energy provision, security, and sustenance. And it is with so much happiness that I say with all humility that we are happy to be here. And I thank my boss for passing the baton to me, because the presentation we'll make will be almost similar. So we will take to anyone that I didn't remember to add, he will complete it. So, we are here to interact with you and also to let you know who we are. So having established these protocols that you have earlier established, I want to stand on them and start from a written brief. I will try to abridge it so we can take other stuff in between. Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, is a non-profit and non-political organization aimed to promote the welfare of its members and promote unity and stability in the petroleum products retail sector, distribution sector, to impact positively on Nigeria. Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners, Petron, is the last mile and the final point of sale. So regardless of what we do, if you have an acreage, you bidded for an oil block, you explored it, you drilled wells therein, you go to a refinery. Of course, it must get to a refinery to work. That's the only way it becomes useful. And after it is refined, it must be consumed for power generation of any kind, whether it's motor or power or whatever. And the only last place that the common man, the market woman, the chairman of this honorable committee, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the medical doctors, principals, vice chancellors, laborers, where they meet to see the value of that oil block they give to you is at the retail outlet. And that is why Petron is the most critical last mile in the value chain of distribution. And we take our job very seriously. In the last 4 years, we have brought quite a tremendous improvement in the way petroleum products is delivered efficiently, quality-wise, and we'll delve into some of the few things that we have done and the challenges that we have that we believe that with the House of Representatives Committee taking the lead can be solved, because there's no problem that does not have a solution. It's just a matter of thinking. Our membership is made up of over 15,000. Actually today, as of today, we have over 19,000 retail outlets and more, adding every other day. And the reason for this is because we provide a very unique service. The service we provide is not provided by our other sister organizations like NEMAN, DAPMAN, IPMAN, and any other, even PTD, don't produce the same kind of service we have. We specifically look out for the retail outlet owner and the retail outlet itself. Prior to Petron's intervention on the scene, a lot of our retail outlets are easily taken for ride by all sorts of people, fake officers who claim to be government, who are not, security agencies that are not, that will bust into our retail outlets, take products, don't pay for them, lock up our officers. Since Petron came on the scene, most of those activities have been doused because we take up the matter frontally with all the relevant authorities. And today that we are now meeting with the House Committee, I believe that in the next 4 years of the life of this administration, we will work with you, because I still have about 6 more years to finish my tenure. That's why I didn't contest for any political office. Alhaji Bate reported me to INEC that they should not accept my application for any office. And I'm stuck with this work, and I'm happy doing it with all sense of humility and responsibility. Our focus, sirs, is that petroleum products should be distributed efficiently, and it should be distributed with quality and assurance of quantity. Most of us here have the experience where we went to retail outlets, filling stations, I used to call it before. Actually, they are retail outlets. And you buy fuel of 100 naira, and you find out that you either got 110 naira or you got 70 naira fuel. Now, since Petron came into focus, we have attempted to minimize those errors. And we do it in collaboration with the security agencies and the NMDPRA. And we've been very successful in ensuring that members obey the rules and follow what is correct. Weight and measures also of the Ministry of Trade is working very closely with us to make sure that some of all those practices, either for or against us, are ameliorated. We have also bought into the National Gas Expansion Program, which ordinarily should have been a program set in the last 4 or 5 years to start the process of ensuring that the CNG introduction and other kinds of gas to power our needs, whether it's the transition energies we're looking for, or actually using it to fire our vehicles. Petron bought into it, and 7,000 of our members volunteered to put their stations as pilots, and we didn't see the light of day in that up to today. I believe that with this committee today, we'll dig deeply into it, and I believe with your gas committee also working with you, we should be able to provide solutions. It is not a committee issue. It is a practical issue that practitioners, grassroots practitioners of the industry can help to bring about with some very strong policies and push and support from the government financially, and also ensuring that the policies are friendly to doing business. Other than that, we have been working very closely with NNPC. We have disagreements here and there. We try to make sure that things work. But today, as you can see, there's quite a lot of improvement in the relationship between NNPC and the retail outlets. We are hoping that it will be better, because I'm hoping that the next meeting we should have here, NNPC should also be here. MEMAN should be here. IPMAN should be here. DAPMAN should be here. Even NUPENG should be here, because there are all issues we need to discuss that will help the industry. Because when we are there talking about how to make fuel available for every retail outlet to serve to the teeming Nigerian public, there are so many things we are suffering that you need to know today. And I'm happy, Mr. Chairman, in your wisdom, you've decided that some of these discussions should be public and others should be in private. I'm sure that you will hear quite a lot today that will surprise you, and I believe that your intervention will quickly resolve the matter, because it can be solved. Our prayers today is very simple. NATO is one of the trustees of Petron. So Petron is actually a child of many of these organizations. And whatever NATO suffers, retail outlet owners also suffer. And I dare say even NUPENG and DAPMAN and MEMAN also suffer, because they have retail outlets that are also having trucks that are also managed by NATO and NATO's leadership. And NATO's current leadership, and even the previous one, has shown critical examples of how we can work and make sure that the downstream is stable, prices could be working truthfully as it's supposed to be, and Nigerians should not suffer at all for what we naturally have in abundance, and ensure that we're able to do everything. So our prayer today is very simple. This honorable committee should please work very closely with us every day of the week, every week of the month, and every month of the year, and every year of our life. Because I believe that our meeting today is not just going to be a one-off, it's going to be a consistent interaction, and solutions will be coming from different areas and different angles, and I'm sure that by the time we finish this meeting, it will be a very, very great blessing for Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On behalf of the committee, I welcome all of you to the House of Representatives. We thank you for honoring the invitation to a meeting with the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream. We are gathered here this morning to find solutions to the problems that confront the sector, which has today become the mainstay of our economy, the petroleum industry. Owners of retail outlets, tanker drivers, or what have you, are very critical in the entire petroleum value chain. This is the reason why the committee has thought it necessary to meet with you and interact with you, so as to know firsthand the challenges you face and what role the committee can play in solving those challenges, so as to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians who elected us to represent them in Parliament. Those solutions include, where necessary, amending relevant laws to give you more effective powers in discharging your responsibility. The Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream of the House of Representatives is is established pursuant to Order 20, Rule 100 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, 11th edition. By the provisions of the Standing Orders, the committee's jurisdiction includes oversight of petroleum refineries, oversight of petroleum product marketing, petrochemicals, oversight of the pipelines and product marketing company, matters relating to downstream petroleum sector, and oversight of the NNDPRA. Jointly with related committees of petroleum resources, we also oversight the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and also we oversight the downstream activities of the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. We also involved in examining and scrutinizing in conference with relevant committees the annual budget estimate of these agencies and its subsidiaries and all oil-related companies, and presenting them to the House for consideration and approval. The 10th House of Representatives, the People's Parliament, under the leadership of Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, has given to itself a legislative agenda that seeks to address the challenges facing the country today, promote good governance, socio-economic growth, and development. Flowing from the above, the Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream is poised to take all necessary steps to address the challenges that confront the petroleum sector as it relates to downstream activities. It is believed that at the end of our interactions, we should be able to find solutions to the issues of distribution of petroleum products, the quality, the accuracy of our metering system, and to ensure that the activities of middlemen that deprive real petroleum retail owners the opportunity to have product is eradicated. It is in pursuit of this resolve of ours and in furtherance of the committee's terms of reference as already stated above that we have taken the decision to meet with you and other relevant stakeholders in the sector so we can find ways to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians in the face of subsidy removal, rising cost of living, inflation, instability of exchange rates, insecurity, and other challenges that currently bedevils our nation. This engagement between the committee, your organizations, and other key stakeholders in the sector is not going to be one-off occurrence. We will always call on you from time to time when the need arises. We'll always meet to discuss and resolve burning issues in the interest of our dear nations. Most of the problems we have can be averted. We don't even need to get to the point of strikes. Some of these issues have been for decades and have been going on. We can discuss on those issues, those bridging issues. Everybody accepts today that the road transport network in the country is in bad state. So it's very difficult moving petroleum products from different parts of the country to other. And everybody also accepts that FX has affected economic transactions. So one should not expect NATO, for instance, to continue to move petroleum products with the same price they have been doing it in the last 2, 3, 4 years. These are realities that we are facing, and we must find the solutions to them. And we must also accept the fact that today, petroleum retail outlet owners do not get product most times at the price for which the state oil company sells it. The question would be, what happens that if you have a product at 590 or 610, how come some outlets are getting it at 620, 630, which is the reason in some of our rural areas, products are being sold at 700 naira, 750 a liter. These issues must be addressed. I will thank you once again for coming, and we thank our invited guests and my esteemed colleagues who have taken time out of their busy schedules to be present at this meeting. The sacrifice which you have made today to attend this meeting, which is designed to find solutions to our national problems, will be reckoned with posterity. Thank you very much, and God bless. God bless.